What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, and today I am bringing you an update to my Poker Night profile. But I'm going to do this video a little bit differently than we usually will, and I'm actually going to show you a combo to start with, because then you'll be able to go, right, okay, cool, I now see what this deck can do, let's see what list you have. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So the 2-card combo you basically need starts off with Imperial Boa as your best starter, but then it can also follow up with any kind of extender. We're going to use Joker's Knight right now because it is the only one that doesn't require any other kind of monsters or influence outside. The other card you could use is Ready Fusion, and we'll explain more of this once we do the profile later on as well. So what we're going to be doing here, keeping in mind you're going to have 3 more cards in your hand. If you've opened up a Gamma, that is going to be able to protect your Boa from going off. So this gives you a little bit more of additional extension as well. So you can normally summon your Imperial Boa. You're going to use the effect to tribute summon it, to use its effect to special summon 2 from the deck. And the 2 you want to summon out is the 1 Queen and the 1 King. From here, what you want to do is you want to link your King with your Queen, and you're going to want to go into your Isolde. Now, if you're worried about any form of hand trap that might actually disrupt the cost of Isolde or anything along those lines, then you can choose to avoid adding the extender. Now, obviously, if you've got Galaxy Soldier, you want to add a Light Warrior, so you can add a King's Knight as you're not going to use that for the rest of your turn. Off of this example here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to deck thin by 1 by adding the Super Quantum Red layer. So should our opponent break our board, we still have the ability to summon this off during the next turn. We're then going to use Isolde's effect, and with Isolde's effect you're going to send from your deck to the graveyard your Infernoble Arms Duradol. By doing so, you're then going to special summon from the deck 1 Infernoble Knight Renard, and you'll trigger Infernoble Knight Renard's effect to add back the Duradol. You'll activate the Duradol onto the Renard using the effect to destroy the Duradol, and that will then allow you to add your Fireflint Lady. Because you control a warrior, you'll be able to special summon down that Fireflint Lady, and this is where the extender comes into play. So you special summon down the Joker's Knight. Of course, he will do an additional Foolish Burial. You want to make sure you keep Jack in the deck, so I would get rid of a Queen or a King. Do not worry, you're probably going to be able to spin these back depending on what you have in your graveyard at the end of the turn. Then what you want to do first is you want to use Isolde plus any of the 3 monsters in front of you. Doesn't matter exactly which one. And you're going to go into your Draco Master of the Tenyi. The reason you do this is you need the 3 zones pointing down, left and right. And then you're going to link both the Fireflint and the Infernoble Knight Renard together, and you're going to go into your Virus Swordsman. From this point on, Virus Swordsman is going to use his effect to allow you to special summon Codebreaker 0 Day from the deck, and that's going to allow you to link these 2 together and go into your Berserker. Berserker will then use his effect to revive the Virus Swordsman and, of course, the Codebreaker 0 Day. From this point on, it really comes down to the route you want to play. Now, you can make Isolde straight away with no issues whatsoever, but because I want this to be a rank 4, I'm actually going to be keeping these on board as they are. So, you're going to link together the Virus Swordsman and the Berserker, and you're going to go into your Rusty Bardiche. Now, obviously, if you're worried about Nibiru, that's probably where you'd make the sacrifice of the rank 4 to make Appaloosa right now, rather than continuing your plays further forward from this point. You'd still be able to use the Bardiche combo, even if you do choose to use these 2 to make Appaloosa a little bit earlier. That is entirely up to you. What you're going to do here is you're going to use Rusty Bardiche to send the Cloak, and the Cloak will then allow you to set on your side of the field a Phantom Knight or Shade Brigandine, which will become an extender. You're then going to banish the Cloak from the graveyard to add yourself a Silent Boots, and you're going to special summon down the Silent Boots because you control a Phantom Knight. Then use Boots and Draco Master to link those 2 together and go into an Appaloosa, giving you a 2 negate Appaloosa to protect all of your plays going further forward at this point. You'll then be able to banish the Boots from the graveyard in order to set yourself up with a very tidy and easy Fogblade at a very base minimum. If you do open up with Shade Brigandine, then of course you can set the Shade Brigandine as an extender throughout this play, and this will become a second Fogblade. You're going to activate the Shade Brigandine, and because both of these are level 4s, you're going to overlay these before you lock yourself into anything and go into a Time Thief Redoer. So, from that simple 2-card combo, not only have you replenished the card in your hand, ready for the next turn, so you're only really using 1 card, you've also been giving yourself a Detach to bounce, you've got a negate in or 2 negates in Appaloosa, and then you have a Fogblade negate. Now, adding to that hand, if you were to add like a Gamma and protect your Boa, if you were to add an extender in the form of Ready Fusion, if you were to add a Galaxy Soldier to that. So for example, if we were to just add Galaxy Soldier to this particular play, then what we would choose to do is, rather than searching out a Super Quantum Red layer, you can search yourself out a King's Knight, because it is just going to be easy fodder right now. You're going to be able to reshuffle them in the graveyard, because you'll be able to bring back the Joker's Knight. So by adding on a Galaxy Soldier at this point, what you're really going to be able to do is you'll use a Galaxy Soldier to send the King and search out another Galaxy Soldier. And then all you need is another light monster. So continuing from your 3-card combo hand, one of them is a Galaxy Soldier, one of them, of course, is an extender, the other one is Boa. So as long as you add any other light card to your hand, whether that be a Gamma or anything else, this board then extends into a Omni Negate in the form of Nova and Infinity. Keeping in mind that because we do play the Ready Fusion in order to give you another material for the Cyber Dragon Infinity, that even the extender can become a Ready Fusion as well. So it's just a overextended kind of example, but the very basic 2-card combo that replaces 1 card to make it a 1-card combo pretty much sets you up with a decent amount that your opponent is going to struggle to break. If you wanted to make this more meta relevant, you could put in the Dragoon engine as well, but for right now, I think this kind of balance that we have works quite nicely. Now, with that combo out of the way, and I've shown you how this deck can operate on a very basic level, we're now going to shuffle this up and we're going to show you the full deck list for, of course, the Poker Knights. So diving straight into the deck list, we are playing triple Joker's Knight. So this is your extender. This is obviously the card that helps you kind of conclude your combos with King's Knight as well. With triple Imperial Boa, this is the go-getter, this is the starter. You want to protect this at all possible. You do want to be very, very careful that both your starters, King's Knight and of course Boa, do get hit with Ashes, and that is why Gamma is such an important hand trap. We're then of course playing triple King, and at the moment I am testing out double Queen and a single Jack, because both of these are actually slightly dead cards in the hand. You want your Joker to become your Queen, so that when you normal summon the King, you get the special of Jack. You do have the ability of shuffling these back into the deck with Joker's Straight and of course Joker's Knight. So being able to recur the resource is not the end of the world. As a free extender card, we are playing triple Galaxy Soldier. It does give you the added bonus that you can utilise Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity, but in this particular version, because Isolde can search you out a light monster as well, you do have a very easy fodder that can be discarded for Galaxy Soldier to become an ability to get into a Nova and Infinity, or the ability as a free extender, because all you need is a free extender plus your Boa and you've got full combo. For the one-offs in the deck, we do play the 1 Infernoble Knight Renard, the 1 Fireflint Lady, and the 1 Codebreaker 0 Day. Now, obviously, all of these are important combo pieces that you want to remain in the deck to get the most value. It's not the end of the world if you do open up these pieces. It does kind of slow certain elements down, but it does also still give you the ability to play further forward. For example, if you open up Renard, then you can special summon Fireflint off of Isolde, and vice versa. The final fire monster that we do play is the 1 Red Layer. Now, arguably I'm considering making this a second Fireflint, purely for the fact that this is a little bit harder to become a free extender. Either you open this up or you add this off of Isolde, and then it's one of those extenders, should your opponent break your board, you're good to go. Other than that, of course, it is just used as a free warrior extender that can be searched off of the Duradel. So if you go second, and you open up the Duradel, you can activate that, target one of your opponent's monsters, destroy it, search a Red Layer, and you get a free 2000 beater on the board. This is where I could arguably see Fireflint being a 2-of rather than a 1-of if you do replace it with Red Layer. Then for the final 1-ofs, you are playing the 1 Cloak and the 1 Boots. I just feel that in this particular version, being able to set up a balanced board of front row negations and back row negations, or extenders should you need them, is the best way of playing the game right now. It's so easy to lose to a single Dark Ruler no more, a single Twin Twisters, that if you balance out your back row and front row, and you're giving your opponent stuff to worry about on both areas, it does make it a little bit easier to kind of control the game state, and in order to give you an out-and-out victory. The final monster card that we do play is, of course, triple Gamma and the single Driver. Now, should you ever open up Driver, it is very easy discard fodder, and it is very easy light fodder for the Galaxy Soldier. Off the back of that, the reason Gamma is so important is, should you activate Joker's Straight and they try to ash you, you can of course chain Gamma. You won't be able to go into your your Omega, because it would no longer be a light warrior and you're locked into light warriors, but you'll still be able to use that as link fodder to go into any light warrior link monsters should you choose to play it, or it's just there to help negate and make sure your Joker straight resolves. The most ideal scenario that you're going to be resolving Gamma off the back of is the Imperial Boa, because you tribute Boa as cost. Your opponent is then always going to be tempted to ash that card. So when they ash it, you chain Gamma. Not only do they lose a card in their hand, do you successfully resolve the Imperial Boa, but you can then make Omega, rip one from your opponent's hand, and that will then mean that they're starting their turn with 4 cards, and when they are trying to resolve, or when you've resolved the Imperial Boa, they're then going to try and break that board of 2 Appaloosa Negates plus at least a Fogblade, if not 2 Fogblades, with those 4 cards. So if you do the maths right, each one of your cards is going to be negating and stopping each one of the cards in their hand. Then we move on to the spells. Now, as soon as we hit into the spells, we are going to be playing triple Joker straight. This card is absolutely insane for the deck. The biggest shame about it is the fact that it locks you into Light Warriors, and at this moment in time we don't really have, apart from Utopias, any outstanding Light Warrior monsters that are coming from the extra deck. So you discard a card to special a Queen's Knight from your deck, and then you get to add a King's Knight or Jack's Knight from your deck to your hand, and then immediately normal summon it after this effect resolves. So you get to normal summon the King after special summoning the Queen, which then means you get a Joker from the deck, a Jack from the deck. You can't special summon monsters from the extra deck except Light Warriors, and that is where it becomes a bit of an issue. If this card is in the graveyard, you target a Light Warrior monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and add this card back to the hand. Now, the idea is you can recycle Light Warriors, so you can recycle the Utopia package. The best monster to come off the back of the Joker straight will be Utopia into Utopia Double or Utopia the Lightning, should you want to go that route. If you wanted to spice it up a little bit more, there are Heroic Challenger Excalibur, and there is Pal Dynamo as an alternative option. Rather than 2 more hand traps, I am playing double Forbidden Droplet, purely because going second, it's not the end of the world if you've got if you put a Joker straight into the graveyard. If you play a Joker's Wild, you can put that into the graveyard. You can also put any of your one-offs that you don't want to be seeing in your hand. So stuff like your Codebreaker monster, your Boots or your Cloak, all of that stuff you can put into the graveyard, negate your opponent's board, and then play from there. So not only is it a good go first card, but it is also a good go second card. If you don't have access to Forbidden Droplets, your other options will be Dark Ruler No More and, of course, Forbidden Chalice. Speaking of expensive cards right now, we are playing double Pot of Prosperity. It is your best consistency draw card, and when you look at the other pot cards, the cheapest one you can play is Desires, but it is a little bit risky because you don't want to lose all of your King, Queen and Jack pieces. But if you've already searched those pieces out, or you are confident that you're not going to be able to burn into them, then you can play Desires. If you want to be extremely spicy, you can play Extravagance, but it would mean controlling the extra deck a lot more and maximising the core cards like Utopia and Utopia Double that you're going to want to be going for. In this updated version, I am playing 2 Ready Fusion purely because it is a free extender. Throughout this combo, it doesn't matter if you summon out a vanilla monster or if you summon out a level 6 or higher monster. Level 6 or lower monster. You're going to be using it as free extension, which you're going to be using to go into your link 3 of the Draco Master. The best thing about Ready Fusion is it does allow you to play a card called Cybersaurus. Now, being able to play Cybersaurus, it's a shame that there are no Light Warriors that are non-effect monsters that you could use Ready Fusion for, because then it would mean that it would be a lot more consistent in order to resolve the effects and resolve the ability of getting Pallades after activating Joker's straight. However, Ready Fusion does allow you to get into a Cybersaurus. That Cybersaurus can then help you get into Infinity and Nova. Another option could be Sea Monster of Theseus, because Sea Monster of Theseus plus a Galaxy Soldier, a Joker's Knight or a Jack will allow you to get into Ultimate Zolkin, and then by setting any of these cards that you see before you, or of course any of these that we also have as well, you're then going to be able to trigger and get yourself a Crystal Ring. So it does give you an alternative option and a different route to go with. So Ready Fusion is definitely something to be looking out in for. I've gone with 2 rather than 3 because I do have a lot of extenders in the deck already. And you don't want to see this after you've activated it and resolved it. You've not got any more targets, so it does become a dead draw. And you want to minimise that where at all possible. For the one-offs, we are playing the 1 Reinforcement in the army. This is mainly going to be searching out your Boa and then your King. And then, of course, for our equips, we do have the 1 Duradol and the Living Fossil. Obviously, Living Fossil is a free monster reborn. Duradol is the ability to search your fire monsters. And then, of course, we've got the 1 Called by the Grave to stop those pesky hand traps. And the 1 Double or Nothing. You want to bury this as much as possible. It is a win con within the deck. And the deck does have a couple of win cons. The whole idea is after you've been able to shut your opponent down with a Zold and Fog Blades, you're then able to follow that up by going into a Utopia the Double, a Mega, a Divine Arsenal Zeus, or anything along those lines as well. For the final trap cards, we are playing double Fog Blade and the single Brigadine. Now, obviously, if you know you're going second, you can take out a Fog Blade, or two if you want to. But the idea is that even if you open up Shade Brigadine, it is a free extender. That then helps you get into either rank 4 plays, or because it is a warrior, can get you into a Zold plays as well. And the Fog Blades are there as free negations and interruptions that you're constantly going to be searching and setting up. And even if you do open up one of them, that's fine. You still get the second one throughout your combo, and then you're being able to set up 2 Fog Blades, backed up with a 2 negate Appaloosa and a free bounce off of your Reader, is obviously going to be very, very difficult for your opponent to try and break very easily. Moving on to the extra deck, we'll start off with, of course, the one fusion monster being Cybersaurus. So this is just the test off of the back of Ready Fusion. Keeping in mind as well that the Ready Fusion is mainly going to be there just as a free extender. You don't need it to be a warrior, you don't need to be a machine specifically, but being a machine is probably the most utilized option, so that should you open up the ability to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity and then Nova, you do have that ability to abuse that as easy as possible. For the Link monsters, we've got Appaloosa, we've got your Phantom Knight Shade Brigadine, we've then got your Codebreaker, your Virus Berserker, your Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, your Draco Master of the Tenyi, and your Resolve the Two Tails. So going through the combo, these 6 Link monsters you're always going to 100% go through. If you want to put an aggressor in here, you can put a Boral Sword. You can also put an access code as well, because by the time you've made this, you're going to have lights and darks in the graveyard, so the access code will get 2 pops as well. But that is entirely up to you on the route you want to go. We do have other boss monsters in the XYZ portion of this extra deck as well, but pretty much from the combo you saw, we went through every single one of these, so they're all necessary. Speaking of the one synchro, we do play the one Psyframe Lord Omega, and then for the other XYZs, you've got the one Time Thief Redoer, which is probably your best one you're going to end on. And keep in mind, if you go second and make Redoer and put it to a zone Phantom Knights points to, you will get an additional pop of a card as well. Zeus is another boss option that can wipe the board, and the best thing about Zeus is it can go on top of Nova and Infinity, which will give you the ability to resolve the effects more than once, and it can also go on top of Redoer. So if Redoer is constantly stealing materials from your opponent every standby phase, and you're not having to detach any of them to bounce or draw, you can then go into Zeus, and Zeus will then give you more materials to break boards. This is probably the best route to go into it, is Redoer, just because that way it allows you to boost up your materials, but sometimes you just go Redoer, attack, and make Zeus, and Zeus is going to give you 1 clear, and you go from there. Then the 3 XYZs that you're going to be summoning after you've activated Joker Straight are, of course, Utopia, Utopia Double, and, of course, the one Pallades. Now, Pallades can only be made if you have an extender off of the back of the Joker's Straight, which, of course, would be the Joker's Knight, or you would have to summon out your Galaxy Soldier before resolving the Joker Straight. But I believe Joker Straight only locks you out of the extra deck, so you should still be able to make your Galaxy Soldier after that point, and you'd have to use Galaxy Soldier to make Pallades with your Jax Knight rather than trying to make Infinity, because you'll be locked out of the extra deck unless they're light warriors. Utopia and Double are obviously your win-con 10k pushes. You can obviously go for Utopia the Lightning as well. That does give you another nice Armades defensive option for the extra deck, but you kind of want to make sure you're controlling everything you need and being able to minimise where at all possible. If you were to go for the Theseus engine, your flex spots are Zeus, Nova and Infinity. So that is where you could be obviously a Theseus. It could obviously be a Sulkin, and of course a Crystal Wing. Cybersaurus would then be a spare spot which a Boral Sword or a Access Code could take the position of as well. Anyway, I hope this has kind of given you a couple of ideas on your own build. I just feel that there are a couple of spots in the extra deck that can still need tweaking around with, and I just need to find out how reliant I'm becoming on the Galaxy Soldier and the Nova plays, because ultimately I don't think that they're as reliant as I might feel, and they could be a spot that could be taken up for additional options for the deck as well. Other than that, I hope this has given you a couple of ideas. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's kind of showing you the combo at the start that this build is one of the better versions, rather than having to rely on a Slifer. As much as I would love to, I think the more consistent route would be to be relying on the Warrior package, just because it gives you a better defensive and aggressive option as well. Keeping in mind that if you were to go second and you played out the exact same combo, your Berserker will allow you to deal with back row, and then that's where Access Code could come into play should you want to be a bit more aggressive. Other than that, being activating a Joker straight after using your 1-card combo to build up that entire board will still leave you with a 1900 Joker, a 1500 Queen, and a 1600 King to help kind of attack through your opponent's monsters as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.